flipped my work, and we're going to go over to the third stitch. That's 1, 2, and 3. So that is the first double of this cluster over here. Yeah. And in this case, I've got my yellow yarn, my gold colored yarn, and we're going to be doing 2 rows with the gold. So I pulled up, did a chain, make that a little bit more taut, and then we do a single into that same stitch. There we go. And then we make sure that the orange is a little bit taut, and into that bottom space we do our 3 doubles for our first cluster with the gold. There we are. Just like that. Yeah, so we're going to be doing 2 rows with the gold. Really getting there. All right. Okay. Another reason I hate to say that I haven't been filming as much or as regularly as I would like. I've been, alas, in a bit of pain lately. Nothing too traumatic or serious, no. Just got a bit of a toothache. There we go. Don't know if it's a cavity or something else. Honestly, I don't know. So it looks like I'm going to have to visit a dentist fairly soon. Not one of my favorite places. I'm sure most of you can agree with me on that one. But admittedly, like I'm sure some of you have a similar problem, I don't have any health insurance. Can't afford it, I'm afraid. And the irony is to be insured, if your job doesn't provide it, as part of, your work, paying for insurance out of pocket can be very expensive, I'm afraid. And then basically you are living and working in order to be insured whether or not you need it. And then when you do, well, then you have to pay quite a bit out of pocket just to see a doctor. Knock on wood, I am very, very thankful that by and large, for the most part, I don't have any issues. Very grateful for that. But yep, every now and then, we all need some sort of maintenance. And in my case, yes, I need to see a dentist. So hopefully that will not be too much of a detriment to me financially. So for me, it sort of brings up a larger point. Now, I don't want to get political in any sense of the word. Now, for me, it's just more of an opinion that there are 2 things that I believe that all people should have a right to, regardless of who they are or what their financial status is. And I do very much believe that people should have access to health care and education. And, like I said, it has nothing to do with politics for me. It's just a matter of basic human rights as far as the betterment of our species, as people. And the reason why is because if we are healthy, then we can be contributing members of society. And if we are educated, we can be contributing members to society. But if we are sick in mind or in body, then we are not contributing members of society. If we are uneducated or ill, then how can we help society? I'm not trying to stand on any sort of soapbox. It's just something that I believe in. That we should all be able to be healthy and educated. I went through the public school system myself, and I came through it all right. As far as college is concerned, yes, I went through college, and I paid for it. There we go. But yes, right now as an adult, facing the trials and tribulations of trying to take care of my health, well, it can be tricky. And by no means would I expect the best care, but would hope for care nonetheless. Or at least some sort of sliding scale. I don't know. A bit rambling right now. For those of you that can understand where I'm coming from, by the way, we're going to go into that bottom space there to finish this row. For those of you that can understand where I'm coming from, perhaps you can appreciate what I'm saying right now. For those of you that don't, I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm on some sort of soapbox, getting all preachy and whatnot. That's not my intent. All right, so we've got to find the third. 1, 2, and 3. So it's the first double. We do our slip stitch. There we are. Then we chain 2. And then we go into the third once again. So that is 1, 2, and 3. Oh, into the chain stitch again. Oh well. All right, so we're going to do a single crochet right into here. There we are. And then we turn our work and we do another row with the yellow. All right. So, got our 2 doubles right in there to finish off our cluster, and then we continue on our way up. Now, I understand perfectly well that talking about potato salad and going to the dentist and so forth, they have nothing to do whatsoever with crocheting a blanket. I know. I'm quite aware of that. To me, this is part of what's going on in my head, part of my chatter. You could call this crochet along, I suppose, just as much of a vlog as anything else. Suppose you could. And I'm sure that some of you would love for me to be quiet and just stitch, and that some of you would like me to keep going. It's a fine line, but I'm just doing the best I can, as always. All right, just going to keep working our way along this side here. There we go. down, and I think part of it boils down to the act of creation. It's a very personal endeavor. It's a very human endeavor to make something from nothing. And it gets us in touch with our feelings and who we are and what we think and what we believe. And, I'm sure you guys know by now, I am a person. I'm a human being. And, I'm just like everybody else. And I have the same fears and wants and hopes and dreams just as much as the next person. So I'm speaking them. That's all. You can agree, you can disagree, you can listen, you can ignore, you can do whatever you like. It's fine. All right. So we've reached the top once again. And now, just got to do our chain 2. And then our second cluster into that same space. There we go. And then we're going to work our way down. And that is going to be it for the yellow, these 2 rows here. And I have to keep shifting my work, I'm sorry. Grabbing some more yarn. There we go. I'm hearing more of those fireworks in the back, in the distance. All right. So just going to keep going along with these stitches here. And what I was saying before in regard to my personal feelings, they are my feelings. And you may agree with them or disagree with them. You're perfectly entitled to that. But I do ask, please, that in the comments section below, yes, everybody, I believe, is entitled to their opinion, by all means. But if you do respond to anything that I have been saying, please be civil. Not just to me, but to anybody else that makes comments, because I have seen, not on my channel, but I have seen in other channels that there can be friction in the comments section down below. People with differing opinions and so forth on larger issues and so forth, and that is the last thing that I want. Right now this is just me spouting off something that I believe in. And first and foremost, I would say, live and let live. You can agree with me or you can disagree with me. That's your inalienable right as far as I'm concerned. But for all intents and purposes, I very much would like to have this continue to be a friendly and positive and supportive community. It's perfectly possible to have differing opinions and still be friendly towards each other. That is totally within the realm of the possible. So I very much hope that we continue to do so. All right, so we are almost done with this row. Go right down into there. And there we are. And then 2 more, and then the yellow is done, my dears. Chain 1. All right, so we got to find the third again. So 1, 2, and 3. Yep, that chain stitch. That naughty little chain stitch. Nope. Come on. There we go. And slip. Okay. And now we find our scissors. We snip, snip. And then we pull up our loop. And so we're going to flip our work and we're going to go on to the next color. Alright, so we flipped our work and we're going to start in with our new color, which happens to be gray in my case. And we're going to go into the third stitch once again. If I can get in there, there we go. And we've got our gray yarn all nice and ready. And we're going to pull up our loop. There we are. Chain one. And then one single right in there. There we go. All right, and then making sure that the yellow is taut. We go into that bottom space with 3 doubles. All right. Okay. So we're going to continue our way up along this yellow side here with our clusters. Being sure to chain one in between. All right. There we go. And for this row, for me anyway, it's only one row of the gray, and then we're going to switch off to the white. Well, off-white, but same difference, right? All right. So we're just going to keep working our way, moseying along, you and I together. And I don't know if you can hear, but things have started to pick up outside. It is now 8:55 here, and the sun is down. And the explosions are happening. Somewhat to my delight, somewhat to my chagrin. I just hope it's not too distracting for you. There we are. Okay. We're just going to keep working our way across here. And I have to keep shifting my work. This thing is getting too big for me. My goodness. There we go. All right. Ooh, that one was close. Can only imagine what it must be like in other parts of the world where this sort of noise is fairly regular. And I hate to think about that. You know, by no means am I trying to be morbid. I just can't help but think that in some areas that the sound must be a regular thing, and I am so sorry for that. Alright, so we're going to work our way to the top here. Chain one, and then we've got our 2 clusters in the top here. Alright. almost done with the one. Chain 2, and then we do our second cluster. There we go. Oops. Ta-da. And then we're going to work our way down the other side. Just going to grab some more yarn here. All right. There we go. Oh my. Like I said, I don't know if you can quite hear it, but things are really starting to pick up out there. Oh boy. Well, they're not going to rain on our parade. We're going to keep going, because I really want to finish this up for you guys. You know, at least this section anyway. You know, of course, as always, I am totally open to suggestion. You know, I mean, granted, what I'm doing right now can by some seem a little bit redundant, because this is the exact same triangle that I've done before. You know, I grant that. You know, I have gotten requests to keep going with this, so that's why I'm doing it. Now, what I could do, you know, because as I always say, I am open to suggestion, what I could do is for the remaining 2 triangles to start and finish the row on camera, and then the in-between, which is what I'm doing right now, I could do off camera, you know, just throwing out ideas. You know, it would make the videos considerably shorter. You know, which may be what you guys would want. I don't know. You know, that's one of the beautiful things about the comments section, is that, excuse me, it does give me some sort of idea as to what you guys would like. And I do listen. You know. There we go. So just a couple more with the gray, and my yarn keeps getting knotted here. My goodness. Oh, I got it. I got it. See, that's one of the things about crocheting and working with yarn in general, is that it has definitely heightened my ability to untangle and get knots out. I don't know how useful of a skill that is, but hey, it served me well. Alright, so gonna work our way along, almost there, and then we'll swap off to the white, and then we'll be done with this triangle, my dears. Alright, chain 1, and then one last cluster down into the base here with the gray. Okay, and then chain 1, and then we got to find the third. So that is 1, 2, and 3. So that's the third double of the cluster. We do a slip stitch, we pull up our loop, and we snip. Alright, and pull this loop up. Alright, I'm going to turn my work, and we'll start in with the next color. Alright, so I've turned my work, and going to go into the third once again. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So that's the middle double crochet of that next cluster. We pull up our yarn and we chain one. Then we do a single into that same space. All right, and then we make sure that the gray is taut. We work into that bottom space there with 3 doubles. Like so. Chaining of 1. And then we're going to work our way along up this side. There we go. All right. Oops, sorry. This project is becoming quite cumbersome. Oh, my goodness, you hear that? It's like all heck is breaking loose out there. All right. Yeah, but all my windows are closed, so you don't get the brunt of it. Thank goodness. All right, sorry, my camera keeps shaking. Keep having to move this piece. All right, I'm just going to keep working our way along here. Yeah, so, as I've said, I do have a number of ideas for other projects, and you know, I am more than happy to entertain any suggestions that you might have, with some exceptions, of course. You know, I mean, if it is a particular pattern that has been already done on YouTube, I tend to try to stay away from doing those. You know, if it's a pattern that is found not through YouTube, you know, I don't want to inundate this, you know, this website with, you know, videos of me doing stuff that's been already done before. You know, sometimes I can agree to it because even though there are other videos with the exact same thing, I have a different way of teaching. You know, I have a different style, which, you know, well, it's just me, right? You know, you know, and I'm sure that some of you can appreciate that. However, some of them I feel that, you know, I wouldn't be able to bring anything new to the table necessarily. All right, so we're almost to the top here. But yes, I'm more than willing to listen and accept various requests and things. All right, so we're almost there. So into the top here, we do our cluster, and then a chain 2, and then another cluster. Okay, and chain 2. Then go back into here with another cluster. Oops. There we are. You know, I do like to get some of my ideas from Pinterest because there are such a number of patterns, but no video tutorials on how to do those patterns. And that's one of the reasons why I like to go there for the written patterns and so forth, because everybody learns differently. You know, some people, they learn through audio, some through visual, some through audio and visual. And, well, this just happens to be my medium. You know, another great resource is Ravelry. And in one of my previous videos, Purple Iguana was very kind and generous in letting me use her one-row shawl pattern for one of my videos. Very gracious of her. And, you know, she's got a bunch of other patterns available as well. Well worth checking out, I would say. There we go. Oh. There we go. So yes, I do have a bunch of other crochet along ideas in mind for blankets and things. One of them is granny-esque oriented, although it's not done in one piece, it's done in many pieces. Been toying around with the notion of doing that one. Also, have ideas for another crocheted blanket where you're utilizing two colors to create a design, and I've been fiddling around with that one lately and been making some progress. But it's ultimately to let you guys know that yes, I'm always thinking of new ideas for you guys. I never rest. I don't think I know what it is to rest. My creative brain doesn't shut down at any given time, I'm afraid. Alright, so we're almost to the end of this row. And then we will just have two more. Very exciting. Alright, so we've got this one here, chain one. And then, right down into here, we do our final cluster of the row, like so. Chain one, we got to find the third. So that is 1, 2, and 3. So that's the middle double here. We do our slip stitch. Chain 2. Got to find the third again. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So that's the first double of the next cluster. We do our, oops, I will get it. Do our single crochet right in there. And then we're going to flip our work and start in on the next row. Alright, so we got to finish up this cluster with 2 more doubles in that bottom space there. Chain 1. There we go. Here we are. Also, another thing that I'm interested in knowing, you know, always looking for your comments, of course, naturally, because it gives me an idea as to, am I on the right track with you guys or not? Thus far, my formula has been, when I teach a project, Generally, I like to finish the project so that I can show you an entire piece. And then after I've finished the piece, in the intro, outro, I show the finished piece. And then for the video, I actually show you, all right, here's how to do it. Now, as you know, that takes a lot of time sometimes, depending upon the project. It can take a lot of time to actually finish the piece prior to shooting the video. Now, just I'm putting out some feelers here. Is that something that you would like me to continue doing so that you can see the finished piece? Or does that not matter to you? And, especially if it's a piece where, it's basically like a 1 or 2 row repeat, and the size of the piece is just a matter of personal preference and taste and so forth, like a scarf or a blanket or, that sort of thing. Basically, I think what I'm getting at is, would you rather see more videos that do not show the completed piece, or fewer videos, but I go the whole 9 yards, so to speak, and I show you in its entirety? Now, me asking that right now could seem a little bit silly, because what I'm doing is going not just the whole 9 yards. No, I'm going, 18 yards for this project. But, I don't know, I guess what it boils down to is, I love input, and I love feedback, and I like hearing from you guys. And I'm not doing this channel just for me. Nope, I'm doing it for you guys. And hearing from you, well, it keeps me motivated. All right, so we've reached the top. And then I'm going to do our second cluster into that same space. There we are. And then we're going to work our way down the other side. And we only have one more row. Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm aware, I must be doing something right, because I do get a lot of comments, and I keep getting more and more subscribers, and, I do see that you guys are watching, but I want to make this channel the very best that I can. Keeping in mind that in spite of my good intentions, that I can't please everybody. But I'm trying. And that's what counts, right? Alrighty. Ooh, more explosions in the back. Alright. We're getting there. Also, of course, if you'd like to see me do videos utilizing different mediums, doing sewing or embroidery, counted cross stitch, working with polymer clay, making jewelry. These are all things also that I have entertained. I'm not limited to just working with yarn. It is one of my passions, naturally. But, you know, I'm not fixed into one particular category of crafting. You know, I know that I've done quite a few of these crocheting videos and knitting videos and so forth, but I am capable, perfectly capable, of going into different mediums as well. And that's something else, as far as feedback is concerned, that I would very much like to know. Would you guys be interested in seeing me do, you know, different kinds of playlists? You know, working with polymer clay, making jewelry, working with sewing, and you know, that sort of thing. Would you guys be interested in seeing that? You know, I'm very much interested in branching out further. You know, by no means do I wish to lose your interest, you know, because if some of you are die-hard crocheters, I totally respect that, you know, but creativity cannot necessarily be fenced in. Alright, so we just did our last cluster. So now, after chaining one here, gotta find the third once more, the last time. So that would be 1, 2, and 3. So into the first double, right there, we do our slip stitch. There we are. And now, going to chain up 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to turn my work, and we'll do the very last row together. Alright, so I've got my chaining of 3, and we need to do 2 more into this space down in here. There we are. And then, that's the only difference with this row. We're just going to keep working our way across. All right. Always feels good to be in the home stretch, right? Okay. Just going to have to keep finagling and shifting here. I'm sorry. So yeah, definitely I would be very, very, very much interested to hear your opinions. You know, if I were to do different playlists in other mediums, would you guys be interested? You know, regardless of your feedback, I may or may not do it. I don't know, but to hear what you guys have to say means something to me. Always has, always will. And it would give me an idea of which direction to branch out into, you know, which course to take, you know, because I want to keep this channel interesting for you guys. I mean, I don't think I'm necessarily dull, but, you know, I'm very passionate about the act of creation alone, you know, as it is, regardless of what the medium is, and regardless of whether it's yarn or fabric or clay or, you know, wire, you know, it's all very interesting to me. So please, you know, do make some comment, you know, let me know what you think. And that could be something else that I could pursue, you know, that is to say, I have every intention of continuing on with the crocheting videos, by all means. You know, that is not going to change. Do not worry. I'm not thinking of stopping the crocheting. Oh no. No, this is, you know, this is my bread. You know, this is what gets me through the day, doing this stitching. You know, this is what sustains me. And I'm sure that it sustains many of you in the same way. I totally understand that, believe you me. But, I don't know, perhaps a different playlist added every now and then, you know, might be like putting a little jam on that bread. You know, putting in a little different flavor, different seasoning into what it is that we do. So it's something to think about, if nothing else. Alright, so we reached the top here, doing our 2 clusters separated by a chain 2 space. Do. And I'm just happy that I started this video when I did, because well, it's 9:27 right now, which for me is early, but for those fireworks, you know, would rather get this done sooner than later. Because those, I know, they'll go on all night. No rest for the revelers. Alright, so just going to go down this side, and then we will be done, my dears. Alrighty. So hopefully throughout this part of the crochet along, you know, I've given you guys something to think about. Also, hopefully, I haven't bored you to tears. You know, I know I'm not exactly the most fascinating nor interesting person in the world. You know, I have a pretty routine, cloistered existence. You know, you guys are my predominant outlet to the outside world for the most part. I know that sounds kind of dreary, but, you know, hope I wasn't too boring or anything. I'm just me. I just do what I do, and I keep doing it. But with your feedback, I hope to continue to do well and continue to do, as I call it, the 3 E's: to educate, to enlighten, and to entertain, as best I can anyway. All right, almost there. And so keep those comments coming, and I'm sure that many of you who are watching this have already subscribed, but if you haven't and you want to see more, you know, hit the subscribe button, because, you know, well, not just this kind of crochet along, but I've got tons of other videos in mind. And if you do that, well, then you'll see them come out as they come out. You know, if you like the video, please hit the like button. If not, well, you can hit the dislike button. Or, instead of doing that, you could give a little bit of constructive criticism on how I can make these videos better, and I will try to do so, which I think would help both of us all the more. All right. So we are almost done, my dears. Always happy to get through with another triangle just for you. All right, and then one more. And going into this bottom space right down in here. So it's 1 and 2 and, oops, and 3. And so now, get this knot out, and then get my scissors, and we shall snip one last time without cutting myself. All right. And we've did it. We've did it. We've did it. We've done it. Pardon me. And we have another triangle finished. Very exciting, my dears. Very, very exciting. Very pleasing. And very gratifying. Because now we've got this one. Then we go up. And we've got this one. Absolutely love it. So listen. I really hope that you're enjoying this crochet along as much as I am and spending time together as always. And so please, let me know. Leave some comments, leave some feedback, and, if you want, I'll keep doing this series, and we'll go from there, all right? So until next time, stay inspired, stay caffeinated, and above all, stay stitching. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.